From ASU, we are dragging our attention now to 2023 general elections, to call it Road to 2023, political parties and issues-driven campaign. I mean, Nigerians, I'd say their eyes are now opened and they know that it's no longer business as usual. And it talks about the 2023 general election being a game changer, whether or not it's going to be so. We'll keep our fingers crossed to find out. But to talk about this particular issue is no other person than Ralph Nwosu, the national chairman of the Action Democratic Congress, also joining us from our Abuja studios. Good morning, Mr. Nwosu.
No. The African
Democratic Congress.
The right. African Democratic Congress, please, not Action. The African Democratic Congress.
Thank
ADC.
you. Great, thank you. Great to hear your voice and great to have this conversation with you. But let's first of all get your thoughts on this coming general elections being a game changer for Nigeria. Do you suspect it's going to be business as usual, or there'll be a huge shift from what the usual is? Can you hear us?
Thank you very much.
Great.
You can, I mean, even without being told, it's already showing that there's going to be a different ballgame. This time we have 18 political parties that are contesting. And you can see the enthusiasm of the Nigerian people. And that is very, that is there going to be a game changer? Yes. The outcome we will still see. But I'm enthused that a lot of Nigerians are getting registered to vote. A lot of Nigerians are feeling the heat of bad governance. A lot of Nigerians, from what happened in NSAS, are saying enough is enough. We must have to move on. You can see a lot of young people are registering, a lot of young people are making donations to political parties, they're making donations to candidates. I know that the candidate of my party, ADC, has raised a lot of money from volunteers who want to see him in power. He's raised a lot of money. So I can tell you, just watch the campaign begin. The moment the campaign begins, you will see that Nigerian people have had enough of these so-called legacy parties. We now have emerging parties. And these emerging parties, some of us, some of the leaders, we've done a lot of work. At IPAC level, we meet and we discuss. Nigerians don't like what is going on. Except party leaders start to take action, you know, our democracy will look like almost a useless exercise. Therefore, we've done a lot of work, and Nigerian people have been sensitized. They've seen the best of the legacy parties. The young people have also demonstrated to say enough is enough, and they saw the way those leaders dealt with them at the Lekki Lekki toll gate. They've said enough is enough. It's been seen. And I can tell you the so-called two legacy parties are out. They are out. No matter the kind of money they pump into the system, Nigerian people, the youths, the diasporans, everybody, they are ready to fund their own campaign now. And all the people who are candidates that are doing well, parties that are already positioned for this election, are already seeing what the Nigerian youths and women and people with disability and the diasporans, where ADC have an edge, they are already getting very ready. But you know, in ADC, we are being careful because we don't want any of the electoral laws.
All right, Ralph Nwosu, thank you very much.
Therefore,
absolutely, and I know you're very wary also too of the electoral because of the campaign, but excellent. But sorry to interrupt you there. But when you think about, you pinpoint exactly what the problems are with the people. And you're right, you go talk with the people so you can understand exactly what the issues are, so you can plan with them rather than for them. You hear them, like one of the dailies this morning on the front page had the cost of living as being a priority concern of most Nigerians. Life is too hard and expensive in this country, is what they say. If you, in your own analysis as the campaign begins, have pinpointed a problem, say for example, the high cost of living or the harsh living and working conditions in this country is tied to the two legacy parties by what they've done. And don't forget, one of those parties, which is the APC, said the same thing about the PDP and were voted into office. Will you say that it is because of incompetent political leadership our economy is at, or would you point to something else which you would like to expatiate on as being the reason why our economy is the way it is? Because the people are going to ask questions, and I'm not too sure if it's because of incompetent leadership our economy is failing today.
Now, I can tell you that you got it right. Why the country is failing is because of incompetent leadership. But you cannot only say it didn't begin with just about 5 years ago. It's been on. I guess one of the best government we had during this democratic process has been the government of President Obasanjo. After they tried to put structures and certain things in place, all we saw after then has been recklessness. And, and all of them have accumulated to what we have. So it's completely leadership issue. But on that, the moment you get leadership right, any organization will go well. For our own case in Nigeria, ADC have identified the number one thing we have, our leaders need to tune ourselves into is building peace, creating peace. The moment we have, look, by the time we finish this election, what we've started, if you watched our program in our summit in Arewa House last week, it was a major summit, and we asked the critical leaders from the Northwest. It was a zonal summit, and we held it in Arewa House in Kaduna. We said, how do we build peace? Everybody said, once we build peace and we have a good election, immediately after that time, you will see the transformation in Nigeria. Even with that, so it's important that leaders identify the challenges we have. Number one, build peace. And that's why it's like the ADC symbol of handshake. Handshake is about peace. You build peace, you get things rolling. If we have peace, insurgency will come, slow down. The insecurity that we have will already start to even checking itself without lifting any gun. Then, the moment the security challenge is taken care of, Nigeria is 200 and something million population. Investors will come. So, the next leader, do you have the training to build peace? ADC is already constructing the process of building peace. And that's why our different zonal summits is addressing it. We held one in Kaduna. The next one we'll hold in Uyo. You create peace. You create peace. The kind of investment people want to come and produce in Nigeria. And when they produce, Nigeria will, as a matter of fact, we designed that within 20 years of ADC administration, Nigeria will be a superpower country. If we build peace, almost 200 and something million Nigerians begin to work in a committed fashion. Give it 5 years, and you see that our educational system and institutions will become a different ballgame. At times, Look at, for instance, what is happening with ASU. Up till now, leaders have not sat down. The academia, the government, and everybody have not sat down to come out on how to fund education. Go to Oxford, Harvard, and everything. The state are making contribution. Alumni are making contribution. They have different foundations who say, come, this foundation, maybe call it Dumebi Kachiku Foundation in University of Benin, are ready to give scholarship to 10 persons every year. The same way, a lot of other graduates of University of Benin will equally have the same foundation functioning. And the school will just organize a system to award those scholarships to the appropriate persons. We will have more than enough money. And the ones they cannot take, putting parents
all right, Rafosu
should not arise.
Rafosu.
Some parents can.
Rafosu, thank you so much.
Any job.
If you can hear me, pardon my interruption, yeah, but I just wanted us to stay a bit still on the economy situation in Nigeria. And I'm wondering what your thoughts are about if there were 3 key issues that, you know, should be dealt with that would help change the situation of the entire, you know, economy around. What are those 3 key issues that you would suggest to anybody listening to, or even to the electorates listening?
I repeat again, the most important is we have to have peace in the land. If we have peace in the land, investors outside and inside will begin to invest money. It will lead to industrialization, more commercial activities, more employment, poverty eradication, and security challenges will be taken care of. And the economy will flow. Right now, the inflow into this country from petroleum, 20-something billion dollars. One investor who wants to set up a factory in Nigeria can put more than 50 billion naira to play within the next 6 months. And can you imagine having 100 of that? We have enough population to do that. It's just leadership. Forget, people can come and, I am not an economist, but if you do leadership well, the economists, the scientists, the medical doctors, educational people will align and things will flow. Leadership is number 1. And what leadership need now is to create peace. And that's why ADC is out wanting to create that peace. And you create peace, my dear, right. You will see the economy blossom.
Good. So when you talk about peace,
inflow of money into the system.
Great, Ralph Nwosu. I'm going to put you back on. I'm going to put you on the spot when you say peace, because I'm wondering if you spoke to a typical investor, anyone who's got a business in this country right now, and you ask them what are your key problems you're facing in terms of being able to produce or increase or raise revenue, I'm not sure you would see peace on that list. You probably will see things like power. They're not able to get power. They're having to buy much more diesel than they get. Maybe security will come in also in that list, but not peace. So you think it's a bit too vague to imagine that because you have peace and people are peaceful, in quote, it will bring in local or foreign investors?
You see, everything, because all the other things are symptoms of the instability and security challenge and fragmentation of the country. They're all symptoms. We have investors in Nigeria who are going now to Ghana. Nigerians, I'm not even talking about foreign investors, because they cannot move from Abuja, here I am, to Kaduna peacefully. You have read the travel alert from all embassies or all the countries. They say don't go to Nigeria. If you have $1 billion to invest, why will you go to a place where there's no peace, no security. And Nigeria is 200 and something million people. It's a big market. So all the problems you see come from the challenges, the major challenge, security and lack of peace. All the other ones, you come. You know, if you start to talk about symptoms without seeking for the major issue, then you are missing the road. I can understand an investor who is talking about, come, I need power, I need that, and so on. But there are people who are ready to come and invest in power in Nigeria. I mean, we can go down to our corruption and so on and so forth. Corruption can be dealt with, but it's still the leadership to show the way. The leadership shows the way by designing policies and also by their own act. And by the two legacy parties have now shown their ability to deal with corruption. But I can tell, so everything I can tell you is about leadership. There are hundreds of mega corporations in the world who can come to Nigeria tomorrow. You give them the enabling environment, they set up power plants for you. And there are a lot of Nigerians who can do that. But they will not do it now under the atmosphere we are in. And that's why ADC is concentrating on peace building so that we can fuse together, align our strategies, our strategy for building this superpower economy of Nigeria to the situation on ground. I can tell you that. But a lot of our local investors or business people will be seeing it from, you know, I have malaria, I have power failure, and so on. What is the genesis, what is the root cause of all of this, especially now? Let me tell you something. After the last election, after the 2015 election, when it appeared that when President Jonathan handed over without going to court and was able to pick up the phone to call President Buhari to say congratulations, the world thought that Nigerian democracy has come to be. Unfortunately, leadership challenge, they mismanaged it. If they continued on that trajectory, do you know what will happen? The kind of the government started to complain about petroleum because of our petroleum syndrome and so on. But if they continued on that trajectory, we will have the kind of investment that will coming into the country will be 100 times more than what we get from petroleum. As a matter of fact, Buhari will have achieved getting the dollar to almost be 10 naira to a dollar. If that handshake extended to him by Jonathan, that they didn't abuse it, because it showed a democracy that has matured. Because from Obasanjo, we experienced a full term of Obasanjo, and then we experienced another second term, that's moving the second bar. After that, Obasanjo was able to hand over to Yar'Adua, a different person. Then we had a major accident. Yar'Adua passed on. May his soul rest in peace. When he passed on, the world watched to see what will happen. And for the first time, our National Assembly came on. Stakeholders, critical stakeholders of in the country came to work with them. And we were able to transition that dangerous part. It shows we are building resilience. Then Jonathan was able to conduct an election and win. The second time, Jonathan could not win. And he couldn't win. For the first time, an African sitting president picked up his phone and said, congratulations to the person who defeated him. It was like a democracy that was about to blossom. But unfortunately, leadership challenge killed us. And here we have all the security challenges, we have no peace, we have no nothing. But this will be corrected.
All right.
If INEC supports the push
all
of
right.
the other.
All right, Rafosu. All right. Great. Thank you so much for that. Now, I want to stay a bit on, on what you just talked about, what you touched on right now. More or less about the spirit of partnership within.
I'm hearing you very well.
Yes. Can you hear me clearly now?
Okay, yeah, I can hear you.
Oh, great. I said I wanted to touch a bit on what you just talked about now. More of the spirit of partnership between or among the candidates, among politicians. I mean, we've been seeing some, back and forth, some fightings, intra-party, not your party anyway, some other parties that are involved in this electoral and the election process. And I'm wondering what your thoughts are about, politicians, presidential governorship candidates, or whatever candidate it is they're running for, embracing the spirit of sportsmanship. Should it happen that you didn't win the election, there should be peace all around going forward. I mean, I think there's a need for us to deal with that issue, right?
I appreciate you for raising this. Apart from the two legacy parties that held a major national conventions that had about 12 people contesting. ADC also had 12 people contesting. All the other parties were just one-man party. One man came up, paid the party, they gave him candidacy. ADC had that kind of election, and it was trying for us. But at the same time, we succeeded. And the process was crystal clear. It was transparent. It was 24 hours on TV, live TV. People came and voted, and eventually the young charming man, Dr. Edubebe Kachukwu, emerged the candidate. And Professor Kingsley contested the election and was very familiar with the party people because he had joined the party much earlier, and he built a major force within ADC. It didn't go down well with him that he lost. So he's a member of ADC, but and immediately he said he was pulling out of ADC, and then we wanted to start having issues, but we set up a committee to say, come, this thing was transparent. Please join, continue to work with this party, forget this. So internal crisis happens in different parties, in different forms. And it has happened in ours. My leadership has been accused of, some people have said, national chairman, you sold out the ticket, you did this, and so on. But every day I was giving people the conscience quote. You live with your conscience. I have been in this process because I want to see a superpower country. I have forfeited because I want us to see that we can do it. I see so the crisis in parties are there, and I want to tell you, people join parties for different reasons.
Raf also, if you can hear me. If you can hear me, Raf, so I beg to interrupt again at this particular point in time. But the reason why I raised up this issue is because this whole back and forth and fighting is a bit distracting to the electorate who should be listening to these same people talk about issues, issues that are facing Nigeria that should be changed coming the next elections.
Yeah. Just as I was trying to explain, people join political parties for different reasons. And even some people who are contesting for governor or for any other election are contesting it also for different reasons. You don't know what is in their mind until it starts to manifest. As a matter of fact, in the scholarship world, they say politics. The word politics is like a big forest. And in that big forest, you find lions, you find elephants, you find Draculas, and you find all sorts. leadership has to try a way to work it together. So in places where it's manifesting badly, you know that, again, the leadership challenge is working there. But in all the parties, we have issues, but the way it's being managed. But it's important, and as a political leader, I advise the chairman, the candidates, and members of the political party to show some decorum, because it's very, very critical. If you are leaders in political party or you're contesting election and so, Nigerians are seeing you as leaders of tomorrow. Can you provide that leadership if you continue fighting?
Excellent. All right. Excellent thought you have there. In case you just joined us on News Hub, we're on with Ralph Nwosu, who is the chairman of the African Democratic Congress. And we're having a look as we count down to the general election, very importantly also to on the INEC calendar, the campaigns will begin from next month. The discussions will move around a number of issues. We will go on a quick break. When we come back, we'll have the discussion with Ralph Nwosu continue. Please stay with us on News Hub.
I bet Nigeria, everything is so much more. So even a common man can never afford to buy whatever. Even the small people, they also before. If they see our daily bread, they come out now small time now, they will come to election, they go do this one, we don't talk about now, we die in silence, we talk, we go sit down.
Do you understand?
I took a look at my LinkedIn and they said they didn't see, I can't forget the words, evidence of your work.
On Tech Hub, we help you understand how tech can impact your life.
Your phone and your SIM card is going to be a bigger asset.
With the power that we have with social media, with the digital space right now, you can be anything you want to be.
One of the other things we would see is that people would have more faith in tech companies.
And how much you can, through tech, impact your community.
The people who watch my videos, the people who see me and see what I represent, those are the people that I'm online. Tech Hub is your one-stop platform for all things technology in Africa.
Tech Hub, for a smarter you.
With the rise in cases of kidnapping, banditry, cold clashes, bombings, and other acts of terror, it seems the current state of insecurity is relatively higher than ever before. Insecurity affects us all. It affects everything from our personal freedom, how we travel, from the cost of goods and services, to even our physical and mental health. Therefore, we have a duty to help security agencies protect us better, wherever and whenever we can. If you see or hear something suspicious in your neighborhood, don't keep it to yourself, but be sure to say something to the right authorities. Remember, you could just be saving a life, and that life you save could be yours.
This is a message from the Silverbird Group.
Welcome back, and we're making the home run on News Hub, where we're having discussions, very important discussions, as we count down to the 2023 general elections. And it's at the cusp of the campaign, which begins next month, and we're talking to stakeholders, trying to understand just what the campaigns should be about. Ralph Nwosu is the chairman of the African Democratic Congress, and he's been having meetings and also sort of understands also what the real issues are, having spoken with also the people that we speak with also, who tell us rising cost of living as a major thing. Ralph Owosu, thank you for still staying with us. Great. So another thing you'd hear people talk about is security. Security is a major problem in this country, and I'm sure it does form a basis for your argument about peace, because you wouldn't need peace if everywhere was already secured. People are insecure, can't make those journeys to their homes from work or to their villages. They can't go to the farms to farm anymore because of the fear that they could be attacked or even abducted, you know. So it's a wide range of problems in this country, from the northeast, if you go from the Sambisa all the way to Shagamu here in the southwest of the country. But what would you say when the campaigns begin that you, as a political leader, will bring to this solution market, or this solution soup that we're cooking in dealing with insecurity, that is different from what the other legacy parties have put in place in the last 16 years?
Thank you very much. You know, yesterday, some of our state chairmen gathered, and I think somebody reported to me that the chairman from Borno State said that they have a different republic in Sambisa Forest. So it started from there, Sambisa Forest, a different republic, and gradually it's gone across Nigeria. You go to Niger State, there's some local government that is under, this institution. You go to the southeast, you can see the type of from Abia, from Imo, from all around Nigeria. Even recently, there's this threat, and I hate to talk about it, of people threatening Lagos, that one thing or the other will happen, God forbid. The government has collapsed. This government has collapsed. Therefore, when I see people talking about APC or PDP, it hurts me, because we see people who have caused this problem. And you see their body language. These other parties, they don't have money, don't do this, and so on. The lack of leadership on their part has caused all the problems that we have. How do you recreate this whole process? You see, ADC is handshake. Handshake. A lot of people are disillusioned. And some of these people have turned into crime. You know why they did? Because of the situation of the economy, because of hardship, because of poverty, because of the recklessness in the system, because corruption, making money anywhere is tolerated. Don't even be surprised that some of the people who are running election now are kingpins of kidnapping, because because they wanted to run election, and you have to spend money. Some of them have been involved in all of this and accumulated money, and tomorrow they will run election and win. ADC has designed different ways to checkmate this, because number one is that from us being ADC and what is in our DNA, what is in our DNA is this handshake of friendship, love, relationship, peace building, inclusion. If that DNA is translated and transmitted into the Nigerian values, I bet you things will change very, very well. Now, how do you, the practical ways? You know, I am not a military strategist. I'm part of people who think leadership and who think about Africa. And when you think leadership, you can see that you can find peace even without shooting any gun. I believe in that class of thought. But within our party, and as we're structuring, we have people who believe in the hands of thought. When we created our party, we said we can build peace. We want to build peace in Nigeria and across Africa without ever shooting gun. Frankly, the people at times who promote all of these big munitions and so are the heavy corporations that are making so much money in building military wares. But you go to any institution, you can find out that peace can be built without ever shooting gun. We belong to that academy. So that is why, number one thing ADC is doing, even before we take over power, we are going across Nigeria. We started it. We went to the Northwest Arewa House, sat with Northwest leaders to say, how do we build peace moving forward? They've given us their own perspective. We are going to South in Uyo to get their own perspective. We will go across the 6 zones, and we will go to the diaspora, because in ADC we have the 7th zone. The 7th zone is our diaspora. We are well prepared to change the dynamics of Nigerian politics. Any other solution that people will give you to do that or this, the fundamental thing is build this in our community. And insecurity would definitely disappear. How much has the Nigerian government budgeted for the procurement of sophisticated guns? So much. But I can tell you, while we're trying to build peace, we have specialized drones that can move around and be collecting information. The hideouts of kidnappers in the east, the unknown soldier or unarmed soldier, all of them across Nigeria, their hideouts will be seen, and we are going to use your TV to show them that their hideouts are known. And if their hideouts are known, but we are Nigerians, we want to reconcile. And if we reconcile, we are creating a very robust economy so that people will feel dignified.
Ralph Nwosu. All right, Ralph Nwosu, I want to stay with you a bit on the security issue, because it's one that bothers the whole of Nigeria, Nigerians as it were. You speak of kinetic measures right now, all the aerial surveillance, all the planes and bombers and the rest of them. What about non-kinetic measures, as have been recommended by some experts, that there's a socio-economic degradation in some of these communities that's making them embrace, kidnapping, banditry.
You can say that again. Yes.
Yes. So.
Yes.
So
now I told you, the government, you just have to do with alternative ways of building peace, and you build peace. I mean, people will again start to appreciate life. Just like look at one of the challenges we have with our education, because they all are part of it, giving the human person the requisite dignity as a state. There is no legacy university that cannot have foundations. As I sit here now, after I have worked with Dumebi Kachiku, our candidate for some time, I can list over 1,000 University of Benin graduate. That's where he graduated. I can list over 1,000 that can set up foundation to give minimum of 10 persons scholarship in the University of Benin. If the university cannot do that, if the local government cannot do that, if the state government cannot collaborate with the university to do that, if the federal system, Ministry of Education cannot do that, then we will have system collapse, system failure. I'm just telling you this because when I came to your studio and I watched the things you were saying, it has to do with ASU. So we have documented things. If our in our local, you go to some communities, you see primary schools that some of us went to, some of our fathers went to, and it's almost gone. You go there, it's like a bush, no roof. But I sat down sometime to calculate how many multi-millionaires from my community who went to one primary school called Afabala Primary School. That if we have a functioning local government who will be mindful, the local government chairman, the leadership within the area, being mindful to map the graduates of Afabala Primary School, that the foundation set up there will build up Afaba to look like schools in America. Leadership must give direction. Within the next 1 month, the Dumebi campaign organization will give University of Benin about 1,000 to 2,000 University of Benin graduates who can afford to pay scholarship for minimum of 100 persons. And we will do that across the Nigerian universities. We will do that across all the primary schools, all the secondary schools. No legacy secondary school will be lacking in any way. But leadership has to show the vision and the mindfulness. Something new is coming. And as we say in our campaign, Dumebi is coming. Thank you. I hope I pointed to the right direction.
All right, Ralph will say, as we, an intriguing conversation we're having with you, we have just a short while before we end the discussion with you, but there's so many areas to focus on, so many of the problems in this country that there's never enough time to talk about what we need to do as a people. But as we bring the conversation to a close, there are things that people will look at the candidates when the campaign begins, and they will want to hear from them how they hope to deal with the issues which we've mentioned. We've talked about education, we've talked about the economy, the cost of living, we've talked about security also too. And I just think it would be great that the major chunk of this country, more than half of this country, from 18 years and below, they represent today of Nigeria and the tomorrow of Nigeria. They are also the largest chunk of the voting public also too. Help us understand what you think about the Nigerian youth very quickly as they approach the next year's general election.
I have worked with the Nigerian youth for more than 20 years. As a political party leader, they are our force. And in ADC, for instance, all the youths that came to contest have our card for free. And we have almost 75% of the people who are contesting who are youths, men, women, and PWDs. So we work with them. They are not happy of what they are getting from this country. And you know, like some of us who saw Nigeria at a height, this new crop have seen Nigeria in the worst state. They have seen Nigeria, and on daily basis, when they turn on their TV, it's talking about kidnapping. On daily basis, they see their politicians and living so high, very luxurious lives. They've seen their politicians, their members of a National Assembly going to Dubai everywhere to have birthday parties. And so some of them come with all of these kind of ideas. Some of them feel life in politics is about that. And when you live where you see the elderlies, the elites living such a posh life, and where they live, they see nothing. It creates a disharmony. Most of our young people are depressed. Mental health challenges and so on and so forth is there. And that's why you see some of them doing all sorts. We feel for them. The ABC solutions to all of this. Do you know, in Uyo, one of our signposts for what we want to do in Africa is that in Uyo, we are setting up
Rafonsu, I beg to interrupt once more, but I wish we had more time to continue this conversation. It's been a beautiful time, conversing with you around the issues and political parties, really talking about issues-driven campaigns like we've taken a look at right here on the show. But thank you so much for joining us this morning. Rafonsu is the National Chairman, African Democratic Congress, ADC. Thank you so much for joining us on the conversation this morning.
Thank you very much. I appreciate you.
Absolutely. All right, it's been I say boatload of subject matters we've talked about here today.
Brilliant, brilliant. And look forward to this conversation continuing from tomorrow.
Absolutely. Very interesting one. But thank you all for joining the conversation today. For those of you who called in, our guests, and to you, Agogo, it's always a pleasure doing this Uroshush thing with you. My name is Mr. Frank. Have an awesome day. I'm going to be here tomorrow with David Babu DK to continue the conversation.
All right, but you have yourself a lovely day, and make sure that it's Uroshush Kwa Heri.